of warehouse management, or what are the different landscape which SAP has provided for the warehouse management based on the customer need and based on their warehouse layouts and based on their the stock keeping capacity. Business will have to decide on what kind of warehouse management system they have to go for. So here you see this is the way, like it starts with no warehouse management. Okay, so here there is no WM implemented at all. So the entire stock is managed at the storage location level. Yeah, but let's say if it is a very small warehouse, okay, and if you just want to uh, track your product, or if you for doing the picking, or you just want to have the picking list in the place, and you just want to have the labels and all that, right? So in that case, people use the lean warehouse management system. Okay, so it will not have all the WM features. It will just allow users or a system to create the transfer orders for picking and put away. This is just for the tracking purpose, and even it will help them to do a put away and picking based on the labels which will get printed using those transfer orders. That is the only warehouse management system. So it will not have all the functionalities of the full warehouse management system. Yeah, so it all depends on the warehouse, what exactly the volume is and how their stock. Based on that, they will decide on the type of warehouse management which they want to implement. Yeah. Then comes the warehouse management. As you all know, if your warehouse, I mean, stock, if the volume is very high, and if you want to monitor your stock at a very minute level, and you want to track the activities at the bin level, then obviously the warehouse management is implemented. So the stock monitoring will always happen at the bin level. Yeah, so that is the purpose of warehouse management. And in ECC, this warehouse management comes as by default. So it is up to us if we want to activate it, we can activate it. And there are standard features available, like normal put away strategies and picking strategies, and all those standard features can be used if we connect our storage location to the warehouse management. Yeah. Then there is something called as decentralized warehouse management system. So even if the WM is implemented, right, but then also in some cases, business, the volume of the warehouse activities is so high that they always prefer to that WM system in a separate box. Yeah. So in such kind of scenarios, let's say the volume of picking or the put away is very high, and they cannot afford to stop the warehouse even for a single minute, right? So in such kind of situation, people will implement a decentralized warehouse management system. Yeah. So here, what will happen is it is still a standard WM, but only thing is it's a separate box. So even if there are some maintenance happening in ECC, right, then also it will not have any impact in the warehouse system, because it's a separate box. It's a decentralized warehouse management system. So users, warehouse operators can still continue working on it. Yeah, even if the ECC system is down. Okay. I hope you all can hear me, right? Just want to cross check. Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Then finally, we have something called as extended warehouse management system. Right. So it's not new. The EWM is there since many years now, but nowadays it is picking up the pace because of more and more people are getting aware of the EWM. More and more people are getting aware of the functionalities which EWM is providing, and also SAP has done a lot of improvements in this particular area, and also in few years, according to SAP, this warehouse management system is going to be eliminated. I mean, SAP will no more support any developments or any new enhancements. They will not support this warehouse management system. So they are kind of promoting that the business or the clients or customers should use this EWM warehouse management system. So that is also one of the factors why this EWM is nowadays, getting more and more, I would say, popular. Right. So these are the basic warehouse management systems which we can implement based on the warehouse size, volume of the stock which we are keeping, and kind of the monitoring what we want. Yeah, so this is just an overview, nothing to do with EWM. But before we go into the EWM, you should also know, like, okay, what are the different types of warehouse management systems which are available in the system, and why we want to go for EWM. Why we want to go for EWM, that we will see in the next slides, right? Okay, let me go to the next slide. Yeah, so this is just a pictorial view of few of the warehouses, but I heard from the introduction session, like most of you have already worked on the warehouse management system, and you guys are already working in WM since few years, I would say. Yeah. So if for the people who don't know, or if they have not worked in the warehouse management system, and if they have not visited any warehouse in near future or in recent past, then they can, for them, I'll just like to spend a few minutes over here to explain. So if you see this particular picture on the left hand side,
Amit, just want to check if you're showing something over the slide, or because for me the slides are freeze actually.
We had it on the first.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can see first slide only.
First slide only.
EWM
page only.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, now it's coming. Fourth slide.
Okay,
Let's see the second one, because we didn't see the second and the third one. Just you talked just to very fast to see the.
Yeah, give me. Okay, let me share it again.
Yeah, now.
Okay, let me know if you can see the slide number 3. I am into a pictorial view of the warehouse.
Go to the second, just to see the picture that you talked before.
So this is the first slide I used.
Yeah. Okay.
And after this, this is the slide. So can you all still see it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what I was trying to explain over here is, like, these are the few pictures of the warehouses, which are commonly designed warehouse. So if you guys, maybe few of you, I think you are already working on the warehouse system, warehouse management system, but for few of the people who are not very much familiar with the warehouse, for them, it is good to know, like, what kind of how the warehouse is managed, or what kind of storage areas and what kind of storage sections and all a warehouse can have. So on the top left corner, this particular screenshot, if you see, so this storage system, what it is called as, this is called as a rack storage. Okay, so in few of the warehouses, okay, they will have this kind of storage where the pallets will come and they will just do the put away of the pallets into this racks. So even within the racks, there will be few like sections, the high rack area, the low rack area, and all that. So this is the rack storage, I would say. In EWM, we call it as the pallet storage. Yeah, so this is one kind of a storage area within the warehouse. Yeah, but it's not only the if your warehouse is very big, right? Then you cannot say that, okay, I will store everything on a racks. There are storage areas as well. So for example, this one. So in this warehouse, you can see, apart from or along with the racks, there are a few other storage areas as well. So this storage area is called as the floor storage, for example. Right, but even within floor storage, you can have a different storage sections. Right, let's say this is our floor storage area, but in the floor storage area, you want to manage a specific amount of amount or a specific type of a product in a separate area, and can be done. So we can just segregate this storage type or a storage area into two different sections. Let's say the fast moving sections and the slow moving section, like that. So based on our requirement, we can decide how we want to, manage the warehouse facility. And based on that, we'll have to configure the different types of storage types and the storage sections in the system, right? So this is another type of the storage area. This is called as the floor storage, for example. Yeah. Even this one at the bottom, if you see on the left hand side, this is also one kind of a storage area. So here you see mostly, so it's not a rack, I would say, it's a floor storage only. But even within the floor, they are doing a stacking. So the first stack, you see they have kept a few boxes, but above that boxes, there are another set of boxes. So again, this is a floor storage, yes, but within the floor, they are managing the storage of the pallets one above the another. So this are called as the stacks, basically. Yeah. So if you see on this rack picture, so whatever space you see between these two racks, okay, that space is called as aisle. So user or warehouse operator can always walk into this particular aisle and he can perform the put away activity or a picking activity. Yeah, so that is called as the aisle. And of course, this wherever we are storing the boxes or the pallet, so this particular area it will be called as the bin. So this is called as the bin. This is called as the aisle. Yeah. And levels, of course, within one rack, we can have a multiple levels. So in this particular scenario, you see how many levels we have. This is the ground level. Okay, then the level 1, level 2, level 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have multiple levels in this particular rack. Yeah. So whenever we design our warehouse, even in WM world, okay, it doesn't matter whether it is a WM or EWM, we always have to, make sure that our bins or whatever storage type strategies or storage type areas we are creating in the system, though everything is configured properly. And if you want to create a bin in the system, we always have to create the bins in a certain fashion so that it is easier for the users to do the picking. So the system will propose that bin based on the coordinates what we give over here. Yeah. So whenever we create a bin, we have to keep these things into the factor, right? Like where exactly we want to store that product. So if we take this example again, so here this is an aisle, okay, that I've explained. What then aisle, we also have to keep in mind the levels, how many levels we have in this particular rack. Okay, so number of aisles, we have 1, 2, 3 aisles over here, at least 3 aisles we can see, right? And in each of the rack, how many levels we have and how many stacks we can store in a particular rack. So all this information we should gather whenever we are trying to discuss it with the client, and based on that, we should propose we should propose what kind of storage type strategies we should give, and according to that, the bin creation and all should happen. So it's common thing even in EWM, but of course in EWM there are few advanced features that we will see. Like in WM world, it's just like we can create the we can create a bin, but the palletization doesn't work in WM as in EWM. So in EWM, there is a feature called as palletization. So if we configure that palletization strategy, then system will automatically do a sectioning within the bin. So here you see the bin is only one, but let's say you want to keep 2 boxes within the bin, then that kind of configuration we can do in a system. And when at the time of doing a put away, system automatically do a sectioning within this bin, so we can place 2 boxes in this particular bin. Yeah. So that is a good feature or very advanced feature in EWM, which was not present in the WM. Yeah, so this is I would say a very good feature which we can use whenever we try to configure a put away strategy for the rack storages. Right. Yeah. Let me go to another screen, another slide. So just please confirm if you are all able to see a slide where it is mentioned EWM functions. Maybe can anyone just confirm so that. All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
So here I'm just trying to explain the different functions which are available in EWM when it comes in comparison with the warehouse management system. Okay, so in warehouse management system, you all know, right? So we can manage the stock at the bin level. Of course, first there has to be a storage location. Then we assign the storage location to warehouse management, WM, and then the stock is managed at the bin level. That is warehouse management at the bin level. So that is why you see at WM level this is active, but of course even in EWM also we will manage the stock at the bin level. So in WM also we had placement strategies, removal strategies, replenishment, okay, storage unit management, RF technologies and all. But in WM, if you all have worked in WM, especially when it comes to let's say placement strategies, right? So SAP has provided few standard placement strategies which we can use in WM. But in EWM, those strategies are there, but we can design our own. We can play around those strategies and we can design our own. I would not say a strategy, but we can design our own matrix using the system. Will try to identify, the placement. Strategies and the removal strategies. So based on, we can create the sequences within system. So based on that, system will always try to propose the first sequence is not available in that, then it will go into the second sequence. So that way we can play around the different storage types and we can create our own metrics in EWM. So the strategies were there in WM also, but we can use it in more efficient way in EWM. That is what I can say when it comes to the both placement strategies and the removal strategies. Yeah. Even in case of replenishment, yes, WM is also having a replenishment, no doubt about it. But in EWM, there are a lot of new features which are available in replenishment, right? So in just to give you an example, in SAP EWM, we have a replenishment method which is called as the direct replenishment. Okay, so what happens in that kind of replenishment is let's say if a user is using an RF, yeah, RF means a mobile device, yeah. If he is using that particular device to do a picking in a certain storage type or a storage bin, but at the time of picking, he realizes that stock is not available in that particular bin. Yeah, then what he can do, he can trigger the replenishment at that particular time itself. So he can there are a few functionalities in EWM, okay, which is called as an exception code handling. So what that particular user can do, he can just enter an exception code, so that will trigger a replenishment in background. Okay. So what will happen? Replenishment task or replenishment order, I would say, will get created, and user will then prioritize that replenishment task first. So he will just try to do a picking from the source and a product into the actual put away bin or into actual bin from which he is trying to do a picking. So that particular user himself was able to do a replenishment, and once the replenishment is done, he will be able to continue with the picking. Yeah, so these are kind of an advanced feature which are available in EWM. Yeah, which is in replenishment functionality, I would say. So that was one of the example. Even another example of replenishment is, so of course we have a fixed bin replenishment, okay, and fixed bin replenishment can be triggered in foreground and background and all. Yeah, but fixed bin replenishment, if you all know what happens in fixed bin replenishment, we always give the minimum and maximum quantity in the product master. And if the stock quantity falls below that minimum quantity, then someone will have to trigger the replenishment, right? So there is all that there are high chances that there will be a time gap. So let's say I'm a operator and I'm now trying to do a picking, but there is no stock available. Then I'm trying to trigger the replenishment, right? So there can be a gap between the fall of the stock and the trigger of the replenishment. So to avoid that kind of situation in EWM, there is another method of replenishment which is called as the I guess it is automatic replenishment. So what happens in that type of replenishment is, so let's say I'm a warehouse operator and I'm trying to do a picking from a bin, right? After I do a picking, what will happen? System will check in background that after this particular picking activity is done, what will be the remaining quantity in that particular bin. Okay, so if the remaining quantity is going to be below the minimum quantity, then system will automatically create a task in background or automatically create a replenishment order in background, which will allow a warehouse operator, whoever is responsible for replenishing it, they can perform the activity. So in this scenario, if you understood, now there is no time lag. The moment I'm picking it, and if system is identifying that okay, there is the stock is going to be below the minimum acceptance level, then the replenishment task will get created immediately. So there is no time gap. Yeah. So that kind of in EWM. So replenishment is a very good, I would say, very good improvement in EWM, and business users are using this types of replenishment strategies in EWM more frequently nowadays. They are not just relying on the planned replenishment, okay, which they used to do in the EWM. That's why in WM world. Yeah. Another one more feature, I would say, the RF. Of course, RF was there in WM, but the RF in EWM is much more advanced. Okay, so in EWM, now functional consultants, okay, like you and me, we all also can do a lot of things in the when it comes to the RF functionality. So we can, based on requirements, we can configure the menus, we can make sure or we can modify the logic. We cannot modify the logic, of course, but we can write a functional specs in such a way, in such a clear manner, so that an ABAP can do changes very easily. Now they don't have to do a lot of research. The functional consultants can themselves write a very good functional spec, and then they give it to the ABAP. So things becomes very easy and smooth in EWM. Yeah, so these are the kind of features which are available in EWM and which can be very, very efficient, which can be proved as very efficient, not only for business users but even for SAP functional consultants. It's very efficient way to handle this kind of features. Yeah. Features, but yes, you see all these features, like these are absolutely new features which was not available in WM world, like opportunistic cross-docking, something called as deconsolidation, slotting and rearrangement. So all these are features which are available only in EWM. Okay, these were not available in the WM area. Yeah. So just to give again, I'll spend 5 minutes, not more than that, on one of the very powerful tool which EWM has provided, okay, which is called as a deconsolidation. Okay, so what happens in deconsolidation is, let's say you are receiving a pallet from a supplier, okay, and that particular pallet is having 5 different products inside it. Yeah, and all those 5 different products should go into your warehouse into different storage areas. Yeah, because 5 products are managed into 5 different storage areas. All are having a different characteristics, and so all should be stored in a different way. So what you would have done here, you would have created maybe 5 transfer orders, and that would have moved it from the staging to the final destination or something like that. I don't know whether what is an easy way to do it in WM. But in EWM, this functionality, enables users. I mean, they don't have to do anything manually. So what system will do, the moment they do the unloading into the staging area, after that is done, the tasks or the orders or I would say, just to make it simple, are created by a system automatically. So let's say there are 5 different products, and all those 5 needs to go into a separate destination storage types. And what will happen? That particular pallet will be first moved to deconsolidation work center. So we will use a work center in a warehouse. So once the handling unit comes into that work center, then from there deconsolidation will happen, and the 5 different orders will get created, and those 5 orders will then be moved from the deconsolidation work center to the final destination storage type. So this is, again, as I said, very good tool which is used by many of the clients. Yeah, again, the cross-docking and all, opportunistic cross-docking, I would say, is also a very good tool which is available in EWM. So you don't have to, bring your handling unit or bring your product into your physical put away area, and you have to store it. Yeah, because since that particular product is relevant for cross-docking, so you can directly move it from your let's say staging area to the goods issue area. Yeah, so that kind of the configuration, we can do it in the system. So we don't have to really bring the handling units inside the warehouse and do all those kind of picking, put away, confirmations. All those activities are eliminated if we activate this opportunistic cross-docking functionality. Yeah. So yeah, that is a brief introduction of what are the advanced features which are available in EWM world. Yeah, I hope you guys are understanding it. I know it's very high level, but at least from functionality point of view, I hope you guys are understanding it. Like what advanced feature EWM is bringing in and helping the warehouse operators to make it more efficient. Yeah. Someone asking any question? Yes, yeah. It's clear. Okay,
No, it is clear until now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Fine.
Yeah. From my point
you are
of view, yes.
Working in it, so I think for you it will be very easy to understand. Even in EWM, reporting is also very much advanced. Yeah, so it's not like WM. In WM, we can just see the stock at the bin level, but we cannot create the statistics and all. But in EWM, we can use the warehouse monitor, and we can create our own dynamic nodes which will help users to monitor the things. So overall, I would say bottom line is like reporting is very much advanced, and there are a lot of features available in EWM which can be used to make sure that the more information is provided to the management on time and in an easy way, right? Okay, so I'm into the next slide. So here is the same thing which I just explained in the previous slide, but in another format. Like what is the difference between IM, WM, and EWM? So here you see that the stock is managed in IM at the storage location level, but in WM and EWM it is at the bin level. Then we do have something called as RF device, mobile device, Fiori apps. So all these functionalities are available in EWM. It's very much advanced. Okay, we don't have to do a lot of customization. I would say, of course, customization will be needed. Enhancements will have to do it because the clients may have their own, business scenarios and all. But most of the time, we will be able to survive with the standard RF functionality which EWM is providing. Yeah. And even the replenishment method, which we already discussed, like in WM, it's like at the storage type and the bin level. Okay, and in EWM, we can do replenishment. Even in EWM, also we can do it at the storage type level, bin level, and there are a lot of different strategies which we can use in EWM for the replenishment thing. Yeah. When it comes to cycle counting, EWM has a feature which is called as a dynamic cycle counting. So in EWM, it's no more necessary to block the bin every time we initiate the physical inventory. All know, right? Like whenever in WM world or in IM world, whenever we used to activate a physical inventory, that particular bin and no more movements were allowed in that particular bin. But in EWM, that's not mandatory. We can of course block the bin if needed, but yeah, we can keep it open. So that is why it is called as the dynamic cycle counting can be done. Yeah. Then the stock placements and the stock placements and the put away strategies. So yeah, as I said in previous slides, like we can create our own metrics, I would say, not strategies, but yes, we can take the same strategies which SAP has given, but we can create our own metrics, and based on that system can propose the strategies for inbound and outbound both. Cross-docking, very good feature, very powerful tool using EWM, which is called as opportunistic cross-docking. Yeah. So as I explained, right, like it's not necessary for a users or for a business particular stock into the warehouse. They can directly move that particular stock from the inbound area to the outbound area. So that can be configured in this opportunistic cross-docking. So it will save a lot of time, efforts, and the space within the warehouse, I would say. Yeah. Then in EWM, we also have MFS. That is, but yeah, it was not there in IM and WM. MFS is I would say, material flow system is very advanced topic. If a warehouse is using conveyors, let's say, right? So for such kind of scenarios, we have to integrate the conveyors with the EWM system. So how that integration happens? It happens using the MFS functionality, material flow system. Yeah, so we need to integrate our EWM system with the conveyors using some techniques. So it all depends what kind of conveyors are they and what technology they are using. So based on that, we then have to connect it. But advantage over here is there's no middleware, right? Like we can directly connect EWM with the conveyors using the PLCs or something. Yeah, so it's very advanced topic, very niche skill, I would say. Yeah, which is I mean, rarely found in the market. Yeah, but yeah, it's a very advanced tool or a good feature which is available in the EWM. Correct. Then heart of EWM, I would say, is the something called as a process storage process control in EWM. So what happens is in case of EWM, okay, maybe I'll try to explain this in the next slide. So this is a very good feature which is available in EWM and widely used, and it's kind of the heart of the EWM. Without this, I think nobody will implement EWM. I mean, it's not mandatory, of course, but yes, it adds a lot of value to the business. Yeah, that we will see into the next slide because it is very important to understand what exactly it is. Then, yeah, we have a few more features like, labor management, loading and unloading with TU. So what is TU? It's a transportation unit. So transportation unit can be a vehicle or it can be a container which comes to a warehouse, and from here we will be either unloading the stock or we will be either loading the stock into this container. And once the loading or unloading is done, then this container or vehicle will go outside the yard of the warehouse. So all this is again very good feature which is available in EWM. So we can use this transportation unit for tracking all the different stages within the loading and unloading. So even after, let's say, when we load the transportation unit, right, it will be the transportation unit will be moving out of the yard. So we can track from the yard, from the door where it is going. From the door, it will go to the parking space, maybe. Then from parking space, it will go to the gate of the warehouse. So all these activities can be tracked using this transportation. Yeah. Then serialization also can be managed in EWM at warehouse level. Then these are also which is called as value-added services, deconsolidation, and kitting. Right, a very high level. I would give you what is value-added service. So value-added service, I think you may be already knowing it. Even in case of WM world, I mean, of course, the standard functionality may not be there. It's there in WM, but we have to do a lot of configuration. We have to do a lot of enhancement to make sure, the value-added services features work in WM world. Yeah. So in EWM, what happens is, let's say if you are doing any inbound, okay, of your particular product, and then once the inbound is done, then you have to perform some value addition. Like you need to do let's say print. You need to do a stickering, right? So let's say you have you are working in a mobile industry or a SIM card industry, and you are receiving the kits from the suppliers. So the suppliers are already, they are doing a subcontracting work. They are creating the kits, and you are just trying to do a inbound of those kits. But before you actually put those kits into your final put away bin, you need to label those kits, right? You need to paste a sticker, because this kits, let's say, is going to be shipped into some country like China, right? So China has a requirement saying that whenever you ship me this kind of kits, you should always have a label in my local language. Yeah, so that is a value-added service. So that kind of activity we can do. So again, here it's a similar concept as in deconsolidation. So we will have a work center for this kind of activity. So once you bring your handling unit into your staging area, then that particular handling unit needs to go into this value-added service work center. In this work center, user will perform that activity. It can be anything. I've just given you an example of sticker, right? But yeah, I mean, it can be any other, like maybe in automobile industry, the oiling, that is also part of the value-add service and all that. Yeah, so that is an example, I would say, for value-add service. Then deconsolidation, I already explained. Kitting is also advanced process which can be used. So, so in the previous example, what I said, like the subcontractor is building a kit for you, and you are just doing inbound of it. But now let's say you need to do a kitting yourself into a warehouse. Then how that can be done? Yeah, so that is the kitting process, and this is again a very good functionality, or it's very standard functionality or standard features, very much advanced in EWM, and we can use it to prepare a kit. So prepare the kit. Of course, we will need some components to prepare that kit, right? So we will do the picking of those components. We will bring that particular components into the work center. We will assemble those components into one kit, and then the kit is produced. So that way, this is again a very good feature in EWM, which was missing. I mean, of course, there is a feature, but the features are very in WM as compared to EWM. Yeah, and this we already discussed, like the transportation unit. So what exactly it is? So we create a transportation unit for containers, or maybe for vehicles which are coming into the warehouse, and either we do unloading or we do a loading into that, and then we continue with the process. So this is again, I just wanted to explain the difference between IM, WM, and EWM. Any questions so far on this from anyone?
So this loading and unloading with TU, is it something integrated with transportation module, or it's available completely in EWM
Yeah, so this
system?
loading and unloading is done within EWM. Okay, so because loading and unloading is happening from the warehouse, right? So once your transportation unit is loaded, and then when it is going out of your warehouse, then yes, we can integrate it to the TMS system. But the loading and unloading can be done from a warehouse itself. Like we can use an RF functionality, and using the RF we can bring all the handling units, whatever we want to load, into a GI zone, and from there we just load each and every handling unit by scanning it into the TU. Yeah, so it is within EWM. I mean, it's not necessary to integrate it with the TMS. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So I'm into the next slide. I hope you all can see this pictorial view of the comparison of WM and EWM. Can you all see it? The pictorial view? Just to confirm. Okay, fine. Thank you for confirming. So whatever we discussed in the previous slides, right, the same is explained in the pictorial form. So if you see the top section over here, right, this is the WM world, right? So in WM world, what we do generally, the good receipts comes, and then we do the inbound, right? We do the inbound in the GR area, and from there, GR area, we directly move the goods from GR area to the final storage type. Yeah. So in between, so whenever, let's say if a warehouse is very big, right? Then if user is traveling from your GR area to final destination storage type, then it's not necessary, right, that in one stretch he will able to perform all the activities. He may stop in between somewhere for some time. He may think that, okay, let me bring all the handling units from the staging area to one point within the warehouse, and here I will collate everything, and then from here I will move it to the final destination storage type. Yeah. So here we will lose a track. I mean, in system, we will just see that, okay, the handling units are picked from the staging area, but still it is not put away. But where exactly it is, nobody will come to know, right? So that is the in WM world. Also, in warehouse management system, let's say if you want to, use the quality inspection process, right? Then there is a way. I mean, standard functionality is available that from staging area we will move the goods to the quality inspection work center, and then in the quality inspection work center, the quality inspection is performed, and then it moves to the final destination storage type. So this possibility is there, but this is the only possibility, right? Let's say apart from doing a quality, you also have to do, let's say after quality is done, you need to do deconsolidation, or before quality, you want to do a deconsolidation. So you cannot combine multiple processes, right? So quality inspection is one process, your deconsolidation is one process, your value add services are another process. So all these processes cannot be combined in WM. We can just have one transfer order, which will move your handling unit from or the storage unit from staging area to quality, and then from there to the final destination storage type. Yeah, so this is the flow in the WM. But when it comes to EWM, you see there are many options available. I mean, if you want to use a multiple processes within your warehouse, right? So let's say before, so these are the doors, okay? Now, since we are using EWM, so we can configure the doors into the system, and then once the unloading, and this is a transportation unit, right? So once this transportation unit arrives and it is parked in this door, then unloading will be done. So once unloading is done, your handling unit will be in this particular area, GR area. Yeah, let's say the GR area 1. So from GR area 1, there are now multiple options. Now, let's say my product is quality relevant. Okay, so if that product is quality relevant, then I will not, like my product to move from the GR area directly to my final destination storage types, because I need to do a quality inspection for it, right? So for such kind of product, I can configure a system in such a way that from GR area, my product or my handling unit will first go to the quality inspection area, right? So even here, before it goes to the quality inspection area, let's say I want to do some counting. Let's say I have ordered 100 pieces. So and physically I want to do a counting before. I mean, it's not a good example of 100 pieces, but let's say if you have ordered a big pipe or any such kind of a product, or 2 pipes or 3 pipes or 4 pipes or something like that, which are very costly products, Okay, then before actually they are moved into your warehouse in a quality inspection area or any other area, you just want to do a physical counting of those high value products, then that is also possible. So for that, you can create a separate work center so that the handling unit will first move from GR area to the counting area. Once the counting is done, it will go to the quality inspection area. Once the quality inspection is done, it will go to the final storage type. So this process, okay, whatever I have said, this is nothing but the storage process. And whatever process I just described, like moving your handling unit automatically from the GR area to counting, from counting to QI, from QI to final destination storage type, this is called as the process-oriented storage control in EWM. Yeah, this is very important feature in EWM, and it is widely used and it is widely asked, I would say. So let's say once you are done with the course and if you're going for a certification exam or any interview, so this is very common scenario where you will have a lot of questions like what is process-oriented storage control, in which scenario you will use it. Yeah. So if you are having a scenario which is very straightforward like this, yeah, like my product is not quality relevant, it's neither a high value product, then why do I need a process oriented storage controls for it? I will not need it, right? I will directly move my handling unit from inbound to final destination storage. But for a scenario which I said, which is a high value product, along with it, I also want to do a quality inspection. Then for this kind of process, I will suggest to the client that you should go with this process-oriented storage control. Yeah. So these are the flows. So you see the first flow, which I just said, no processes involved, directly from door to GR area and from GR area to final destination storage type. Then flow 2 is door to GR area to quality, and from quality to storage type 1. So this we can automate it. We can create a process-oriented storage control in which we can tell to the system that if such kind of products are coming into a warehouse, then I should have my 3 steps. Meaning my first step would be I will do unloading. Okay, from door to GR area. After unloading is done, what will be my second step? It should go to the quality inspection work center. So quality inspection will happen. Then the third step, quality inspection to the final destination storage type. So this way, depending on your warehouse layout and your requirement, you can add the multiple steps. So in the last flow, you see the M5 here. So here here there are how many steps? 4 steps. So first step is unloading from door to GR area. Then my second step is to move my handling unit to the counting workstation. From my counting workstation to my quality workstation, and then from my quality workstation to my final destination storage type. So this is how we can configure our system, and this is called as the process-oriented storage control, right? There is one more concept which is also widely used that is also part of the storage process method in EWM, which is called as the layout-oriented storage control. Now, assuming like if we just take this direct flow, right, GR area to the final storage type. Now, assume this is your the rack, right, where the goods are stored in the racks. So it is possible, right? Like I cannot move my handling unit directly from my GR area to my high rack area. For some time, I may have to put that particular handling unit near to this rack, right? Then someone, maybe they will do some inspection, or maybe they will do some, maybe they will stick a label to it, right? And then they will move that handling unit to the high rack area. So this particular point before which they perform this activity is called as the ID point, right? Identification point, right? So so the handling unit will move from GR area to ID point, and from ID point it will move to the final destination storage type. This is a very simple example. Yeah, but you may have within your warehouse multiple places. So let's say you have a warehouse like this. I mean, forget about the storage type, but let's say these are your 2 warehouses, 2 buildings, I would say, building 1 and building 2. And you want to move your handling unit from building 1 to building 2. So between these 2 buildings, there may be a lot of different areas which will be coming in, right? Like the outdoor indoor, and once the handling unit is inside this building, then you will have one more area where you will like to place your storage type handling unit for some time. So the logical movement of your handling unit, systematical logical movement of your handling unit based on your layout is nothing but the layout oriented storage control. Yeah. So depending on your layout, we can configure it. So user will not have to manually create the transfer order or task to move a handling unit from this place to ID point and from ID point 1 to ID point 2, ID point 2 to ID point 3. You will not have to do that. System will do it automatically based on the configuration what we will do. Yeah. So that is the layout oriented storage control, which is also an important feature, or I would say one of the key processes within EWM, which is widely used. Yeah. So these are the two processes, like process oriented storage control and the layout oriented storage control, which are very important topics when it comes to the basics of EWM. Yeah. Any questions on this particular slide? I know it's high level, but still, I hope it's giving you some idea like what is in EWM. Yes. Who's this?
Hello.
Yeah.
Shiv.
Yes, sure.
Amit, I'm new to this, so I don't know what is handling in it. So take me from very basic level. What is if you
yes,
saying put away? I don't know what is
good.
put away like that. So
yes,
I'm
that's fine.
expecting
I mean,
from
when
very
you will
basic.
go through this course, right, you will not feel that like we are going very fast or we are not covering the basics. Like when I say handling unit, what is handling unit basically? I mean, just to give a quick overview. So let's say you go to a DMart, for example, for buying any groceries or something, right? Then in DMart, whenever you go, you must be picking a basket, right? Before you actually start picking the loose products. Like let's say you're planning to buy biscuits, or you're planning to buy chocolates and all. So those are all very small products, right?